Shalom, everyone, and we are this Shabbat. The readings of Israel and outside Israel are being joined. Outside Israel, Chukat and Balak are being read together. In Israel, only Balak, but it's not by mistake. We have three parashot in a row, something very significant. Shlach lecha, Chukat, Balak. There's something in common that we really must notice because it's a warning for each one of us, especially as we mentioned last week, from the beginning of the month of Tammuz, we enter a period of judgment, at least 40 days till the 9th of Av. As the Zohar is saying in Parashat Shmot, when it says that Moses' mother, she hid him for 3 months, yes, it's literally she hid him for 3 months. However, it's also a hint that there are 3 months every year that the Shekhinah, the protective shield, the kind of cushioning system is not working as well, and it's called time of judgment. These 3 months are Tammuz, Cancer, Av, Leo, and Tevet, Capricorn. They're not consecutive months. However, these are the 3 months that there is so much judgment available present in the universe, and that means we have to be extremely careful about judgment. And what do we have in common in those 3 parashot that we complete today? Shlach lecha chukat Balak. In all of them, we have great people of greatness in wisdom and power and magic and awareness fail terribly, and it cost them even their lives. In Shlach Lecha, we have the 12 spies, the 12 chieftains of the presidents of the tribes of Israel. They go for 40 days, these 40 days from Rosh Chodesh, Tammuz till the 9th of Av. They travel the Holy Land. 2 of them really fight. They realize it's a war. They realize it's a judgment. And they fight it really strongly, and they win. Joshua and Caleb. However, 10 of the others, they fall into the trap. They fall into the judgment. They take in the judgment, and when you take in the judgment, you apply it to whatever you see in front of you. They fell into the judgment. They fell into fears of loss. In one way, what the Zohar is saying, they were afraid. Here we are going into the promised land, and we are not going to be leaders anymore. So they are into their judgment. They are not fighting their judgment. They do not overrule the judgment. The judgment takes control over them. And therefore, the moment you are in judgment, everything you see is tainted by that judgment. So that fear control everything they saw. So whatever they saw, they turn it into, that's a proof we are not ready to enter the promised land. They came in with that judgment. They awakened the judgment within the Israelites that started to cry. And they cried the whole night. And that bad-mouthing of the promised land, the sin of the bad-mouthing of the spies, and the nation listening to them is not completed till today. Till today, You have to be so, so careful not to badmouth the Holy Land. Why? The Holy Land is the place holiness finally can reveal itself through the physical world. And therefore, the structure of the Sephirot within the Holy Land in Israel is different than the rest of the world. Different. The rest of the world, it is covered with the klipa, the shells, and the husks of negativity. So it's very, very hard to tap into real holiness outside Israel. It's not impossible. A lot of great stuff happened outside of Israel. However, inside of Israel, it's a different realm. And that husk, that shell is cracked. So Israel is basically a crack within, as the Zohar says, within the shell of this world of physicality and materialistic negativity. Therefore, it's different. Therefore, the light that is available is different. That's why we perceive reality different in the land of Israel. So here, either you connect to that closeness, that closeness to the upper worlds, closest to the holiness in the land of Israel, or it is intimidating you. If you don't, simply you can't stand holiness, it intimidates you. So that's why it's very hard. People can be kind of, for most countries, that's a country. Well, what do you want to say? With Israel, it's very hard to be indifferent. Either you're crazy about being in Israel and visiting Israel and coming again and again, or you are really intimidated. Why? Because the frequency of the holiness in the Holy Land is so intense, you have to align with that, or you have to argue with that because you have to deny the fact that you're not aligning with that. And here comes bad mouthing the Holy Land. Especially years and years and years, the land was somehow, as the Zohar is saying, during the exile, the land was kind of shielded, and therefore it was known as a barren desert for camels, swamps, malaria, whatever. You planted whatever great stuff, and then you reaped just thistles and thorns. That was the curse because of the destruction of the temple. Now, that curse was broken over 100 years ago. The first ones who fought to plant and to try to grow during the 19th century, you read the story, the stories of the vast wasteland and deserts in the mountains and the valleys and the swamps and the malaria, and then how people sacrificed their lives. Very few. The rest did not want even to try. And, people went somewhere else instead of trying. But those numbers of few thousands that fought because they knew how significant it is, till they turn it around, and now the vineyards of Israel are known all around the world. And the wines of Israel, they always win the first places in wine competitions all over the world. Why? That's the Holy Land. So, of course, the quality of the grapes is going to be different. Not just the grapes, the vegetables that now that Israel is exporting, and the dates and there were, whatever, you just name it, that are being exported from a land that people were starving because there was no food for centuries. So bad-mouthing Israel today, it's even more dangerous. So here, those spies simply did not realize how to be aware, to take responsibility for the judgment that was awakened within them as a result of the intensity of the Holy Land. They made mouth the promised land and they died. The ones who listened to them, the decree was that they have to die in the desert, and only their descendants were allowed to finally go in the promised land and take it over. That was Shlach Lecha. Then comes Chukat. We have also Moses. His sister Miriam passes on. She's the one that he owes his life to her. She saved his life. She was with him, supporting him for so many years, 40 years in the desert. Now she passes on, and thanks to her, there was water for the whole nation. And suddenly there's no water. And everybody's complaining. It's like, give me a break. What about a little faith? God did not take you to the desert to kill you there, so the whole world is going to say, oh God, he had power, but not enough to get the Israelites home. And Moses is getting upset. And he speaks in a judgmental way to the Israelites. That is Parashat Chukat. And he hits the stone because of that, and he doesn't realize he was supposed to talk to the stone. Although he talked to the stone a few times, nothing happened, and then he realized he had to hit the stone. That cost him bad judgment. God said, you are my shepherd to my flock. How come you speak like this to my people? So Moses cannot go into the Holy Land because he did not use his ability to take over the judgment. As King Solomon says, Ezeu gibor hakovesh et yitzro. This is a very powerful sentence we have to remember. Okay. I'm sorry, that's not King Solomon. Ezeu gibor hakovesh et yitzro. This is Mishnah Avot. Ethics of the Fathers. Ben Zoma says, who is the hero? Who is the person of power? Gibor, the hero, the Superman, the one who overcomes his inclination. I was mistaken with King Solomon's. And that is another expression. And that's also from Ethics of the Father. Oh, that's from Proverbs 16:32. טוב ערך אפיים מגיבור ומושל ברוחו מלוכד עיר. Which means the one who is patient and the one that has the power, the Superman is the one that overcomes his judgment. He is greater than the one who has the power to capture a city. So Moses in this event does not overcome his judgment. He does not transform his judgment. What's the result? We realize even the greatest of all humans, they can fall when they do not realize the judgment within them. That judgment can be anger, hurt, greed, agenda, honor, that can take the wisest people, of course. And here comes Balak. Any Parashat Balak, which can be taken easily as another volume in the trilogy of J.R. Tolkien, The Lord of the Rings. Everything is over here. Witchcraft, wars among nations, curses, dark forces, dark energies, talking animals, angels appearing, all of that you have over here. And including beautiful girls trying to seduce the the army of the other nation, enemy nation. You have it all. That's Parashat Balak. And here we have the great uh, main character of this parasha, Balaam, who was the greatest prophet in the among the nations, that it is said that his power was equal to those powers of Moses. And he gets that request from Balak, the king of Moab, who was a sorcerer himself. All the kings in the ancient world had to be able to master the dark forces of magic. Pharaoh, his wizards, Balak and his wizards, and we have over here Balaam. And Balak is offering, come over to my place, let us both curse the Israelites and finish them as a nation. It's an attempt for genocide. However, we read over here again how in the story itself, Balaam pretends to be a great believer of God, a great follower of the creator of the heaven and the earth. And God says, that's in the Numbers 22:12.
Okay.
No, I think they're hearing you.
Hmm?
I think they're hearing
Yeah, it's
you.
fine.
And it says again, Numbers 22:12, Vayomer Elohim el Bilam. And God says to Balaam, Lo telech imaim, do not go with them. Isn't that clear? Well, of course, with the messengers of Balak that came to invite him for the war, the great war against the Israelites. Lo ta'or et ha'am, do not curse the people. He could have said, okay, I can curse them from home. No, do not curse the people. Ki baruchu, because they are blessed. And if you say, okay, I'll bless them, no need, he's blessed already. Vayakom Bilam baboker. Bilam gets up in the morning. He got his answer in his dreams. And prophecy through a dream is not really prophecy. It's messages, but that's not the level of prophecy. Prophecy is 60 times higher than a dream. But Balaam pretended to be a prophet, not a dreamer. And also dreams are always mixed, says the Zohar, truth and lies. Vayakom Bilam baboker, and Bilam get up in the morning. Vayomer Asari Balak, and he says to the ministers of Balak, Lechu el artzechem, go to your land without me. Ki me'en Adonai letiti l'alochim lechem. Because Hashem, the Lord of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, he pretends it's not Hashem who spoke to him, Elohim. Elohim, which means the God of the lower levels. He does not allow me to walk with you. They go to Balak, tell him that Bilam refused. So Balak says, I know the guy. You can buy him. You can buy anyone. You just bribe him with enough money, not enough money, respect, honor. I'll make you the chief of staff of the alliance armies. You will be dressed up like the king of all kings, like the leader of all leaders, with all respect. He bought it. Why? What was Balaam's answer? The answer he got from God was really clear. Don't mess up with that. Stay away. Don't even think about it. So what Balaam is doing is asking again. What's God's answer? Okay, go. What can we do? Go ahead. Balaam made a great mistake. He was one of the wisest people in the world. He was one of the greatest wizards in the world. He knew the arts of dark forces and witchcraft more than anyone in the world. And still, he fell into the trap that Balak dug for him. Why? Balak also fell to the trap. Because Balak also, as a king and a warrior and a wizard, that he was specialized also with so many arts of the dark side, he had no idea that the Israelites got a very clear order not to touch Moab for the next 500 years. What a waste of time and money, energy, fears, frustration. Balaam died in the end of the story. Again, we have over here, whenever we want to ask ourselves, what is going to be our future? And the answer is very simple. As long as we train ourselves to be aware of the judgments that daily, hourly arouse within ourselves, as long as we are aware that the only main enemy we have is those judgments, and those judgments can become gifts the moment we realize that's what they are. How? When we realize that I'm aware to those judgments, not to cooperate with them, because the judgments, we all fall victim to those judgments. Some people fall into victimization. Okay? I was robbed, I was taken advantage of, so on, I'm a victim, and so on and so forth. Those judgments basically destroy our lives. They consume us. They make us decide decisions that get us off course, that eliminate our chance of growth, make us miss all our great opportunities, because the moment we become subjects to those judgments, it just means you have to relive it again and again and again till you take upon yourself the responsibility to be a superhuman. What's a superhuman? As we read from the Ethics of the Fathers and from Proverbs, is the person that is aware of his judgments. He is not letting them take over. He fights them and he transforms them. He sweetens the judgments. When you do that, you become a complete human being. If you don't do that, you are a victim. You're a victim. You are not so smart. You take all the coupons, the cards that the Creator gave you, and you mess them up. And then you lose it all. Like the spies, like Moses over here, like Balaam and Balak in Parashat Balak. What does it mean? We have to be super, super careful about the judgments arousing within ourselves, all of them, aroused for one purpose, to give all of us the opportunity to rise above the occasion, to get out of the box. We spoke about it during the last few weeks. And let's continue talking about this week also. So there is a very there's a beautiful Zohar written about that. Fortunately, just a second. Yeah. Verse 7 in the Zohar Perush Sulam, a Sulam commentary, and it says as follows. Ktiv, it is said in Psalms 68, 68:21. It's really the Zohar is quoting 23, but it's starting before that. In 21, Ha'el lanu el למשה אות ולאלוקים אדוני למוות תוצאות. It's a very important sentence. It says, God is our savior, always giving us salvations. However, there's also, if you go into Elohim judgment, there will be death as a result. And then he continues with this quote in the Zohar, verse 7, as I said, אמר אדוני מבשן אשיב עם צולות ים. God said, and again, God in this case, Adonai, the master of judgments, מבשן אשיב, I will give the answer from the mountain of Bashan. Bashan today is the southern part of Syria, that area that became a safe zone for the Israeli northern borders on the Syrian side. Ashiv mimtzulot yam, and I will answer from the depths of the ocean. What does he want to say? And the Zohar says as follows, Itlan neshav'a liba lememnuta dekucha brichu. We must focus our heart over the connection, the faith, emunah of the Holy Blessed be He. Dechol miloi milei kshot, because all his things are truth and faith, great faith. Vechevan shamar davar, and since he said something, it was already done. אם אמר שלכמה שנים ולכמה זמן יושלם, זה הוא כך, הקדוש ברוך הוא לפי ממשלתו. If God says that within certain amount of time, something will happen, or a process will complete, it already happened. Why? Because the Creator, blessed be He, שכל העולמות מלאים כבודו, that all the universes are full with His glory. That's the way it is, because is God waiting for something to happen? No, He is above time. We are confined in the limitation of time and space. Okay? And therefore our brain is limited in and confined within time and space. And therefore, we cannot understand something that is above time and space, which means if God said something is going to happen, prophecy, in God's world, it already had happened. He's not waiting. He's never waiting. In our limited dimension, we are waiting. But everything already happened beyond the dimension of our limited bubble of reality. Look, we are just a speck of dust in the huge space of the solar system, not to talk about the Milky Way, not to talk about the whole region of the universe that our sun is part of it. We're just nothing. We are limited to so much, so many limitations in that little speck of dust that is called planet Earth. However, what does that mean practically? The things of a human being are very small. How far can our mind go? Not too far. How far can our heart perceive? Not too much. Very small. So our life and what we are capable of thinking about is very, very tiny. And whatever we do is just momentarily. Once you live, once you're not. Once you have something, then you lose it. כך הוא עצמו ולפי שעה. So for himself, basically, a human being is a temporary, every individual human being is a temporary event. Very limited in time and space. As it is said, ketzel over, like a passing shadow. A passing shadow, it goes fast, leaves no trace behind. However, בתשובה, with teshuvah, return. When we return our focal point, when we return the place we put our desires, when we bring it back to the original place next to the Creator, only then, בתשובה, utfila, and prayer, ומעשים טובים and good deeds, ובדמעות רבות, with lot of tears, every human being can become holy. As we learned Parashat Kedoshim, God said, I created you, I am holy, therefore you are holy too. כי הרב העליון על כל העולם, because the master, the upper master of the whole universe, מאיר אורו, shines his light, ומצמצם קדושתו אל האדם לעשות רצונו. And he basically limits, God is limiting his might and holiness so we can interact with him. So we can follow his will. Now, we do have hope. Our only hope is not when we are busy that we are right. Not that when we are busy to try to prove that we are right. Not that we are busy to find what is right for us and then show off to everybody else, I'm right, you're not. If we realize how tiny we are and how limited in time and space, and the only hope we have is to do teshuvah and to reconnect to the awesome Creator. Only then we find the meaning. We find our destiny. We find our job in this universe. Because God is making sure that his infinite light will flow toward other direction without overwhelming us. The problem is it does overwhelm us. It does. Why? We get upset many times a day. We get overreacted many times a day. We get stressed out so many times a day. Every time we do that, the Zohar says that's an opportunity for us that with prayer and tears and cries and begging, you can transform the event of judgment that you're experiencing right now. Confusion, upset, being a victim, anger, so on and so forth. It's infinite. It's so great. And we have just an opportunity to overcome that reaction, that negativity, that judgment, and create a counter judgment. Because judgment you can destroy with judgment. How? And that's what we started to speak about last week. When it says, we'll go back to the beginning, how did Balak realize, where it says, in Vayar Balak ben Zippor, and Balak ben Zippor saw what the Israelites and Moses did to the Amorites. And here it's really saying clearly, verse 2 in chapter 22 in Numbers, Vayar Balak ben Zippor, and Balak the son of Zippor saw את כל אשר עשה ישראל האמורי, all what the Israel did to the Amorites, everything, all the tricks, yes. ויגע מואב מפני העם, and Moab, the people of Moab was really upset and afraid from the people of Israel. But what did he see? It says Vayar, he saw. What did he see? And the Zohar said he used his witchcraft, his crystal ball. He didn't have a crystal ball. He was using another witchcraft, as I saying. That witchcraft was called the bird. That's why Balak is called Balak ben Zippor. Balak, son of the bird, which was not the name of his father. He was known as the warlock with the witchcraft of the bird. And whatever he saw, he basically saw that when Moses was fighting the kings of the Amorites and he defeated them, they used witchcraft. Moses had the ability to create anti-witchcraft craftsmanship, weapons of those ancient days, in order to neutralize the witchcraft of the Amorites. It says that Balak was looking. He didn't have a drone. He had his own witchcraft, as we said, was called the bird, and that was almost burned down completely because it approached Moses' counter witchcraft magic. But it's all magic. And it's all about judgments. We go back again. And it says that two great judgments. One, dinim didchora, that's in the Zohar Balak, verse 3, in the Parashat Sulam. One is called dinim didchora, the judgments of the male, opposite to the female. שהם באים מהרת החוכמה עצמו. Judgments of the male means that when we want to connect to God's light, he never says no. Can the physical light say no? Can a physical light stop mid-air shining? No, it's impossible. Never happened. Okay, so how can you stop that light from coming in? You need to activate a counter judgment that will eliminate what is called dinim dechora, the judgment of the male. What's the judgment of the male? God is the male and creation is the female. We are part of creation. We are humans. We are the most active part of the female creation. Excuse me. So when we speak about dinim de Torah, male judgments, we're talking about when the light of God comes from above. It's only when we order it, when we ask for it, it comes without a filter. God's giving is infinite. When we receive God's light without a filter, because we are selfish, because we create any kind of uh, witchcraft. It's all about, I take it because I want it. That awesome light interacting with this physical reality creates a short circuit, creates a disaster, pain, creates more judgment. The judgment that is aroused by that from below is the judgment that was created to stop the world from falling apart. So these are judgments that are called female judgments. They neutralize the male judgments. How? When somebody, let's say somebody gets too much light out of terrible selfishness, he becomes sick. That judgment. Now you're sick, you're weak, you're in pain, you're bedridden, you can't go run around, do whatever you wanted before. There is a judgment. You are being sentenced to jail by the Creator. How? You can run around and do whatever you wanted to do because you're hurt, because you're bedridden, because you are sick, because the whole world turned against you. Who turned the whole world against you? Yourself. So that's called female judgments that basically are harsh because they bring you into a halt. You don't learn. You wait till you recuperate and you go back to the same old, same old. Happens again. So now the negativity created by the judgment of Malchut that creates death and death layer upon death. But there is a wise judgment that is female. Female means it comes from the creation itself. And that judgment is when what we talked before about. You feel judgment, you feel that the judgment is because of your own selfishness, wrong attitude, bad-mouthing the world instead of taking responsibility, seeing what's wrong and instead of being the cause of fixing it, complaining about it. You know what, these kind of people, you know that part in yourself. You see something broken. Some people fix it, some people just complain about it. And they make a whole drama out of their complaint. But they do nothing about it. That's idol worshiping. Not taking responsibility and not applying the image of the Creator that is instilled in each one of us. You see it broken, do as much as you can to fix it. Don't leave it broken. But that's not mine. Why did you see it? Why are you part of it? We are all living in our Father's universe. If it's broken, you fix it. You fix your own universe. So Moses used those judgments to neutralize the dark witchcraft of the Amorites. Balak was doing his witchcraft at the same time. He tried to get into that interesting frequency where Moses and the Amorites were fighting, and his bird got burned. He was afraid. The whole nation of Moab was afraid if their king is afraid. So Moses knew exactly how to neutralize the judgments of the Amorites, and later on the judgments of the king of the prophet Balaam. How did he do that? Basically, to teach us that on a regular basis, Moses did the right thing. Yes, he made one mistake. Okay, maybe more. He's human. The Torah does not speak about perfect human beings because the Torah is a remedy, the sages say, to heal our negativity. If I don't have negativity, how can I heal? So this is what the Torah is about. So here we have that thing that during the coming days, we have to be on watch. The judgments are not going to stay dormant as they were before. They're going to awaken this week, next week, the week after. We have 40 days to be able to sort out and to watch all the judgments within ourselves. It's crucial for the next stage. But when we face those judgments, what does the Zohar say? Put your heart into God. Put your heart into God's love to you and to all of his creation. Pray for forgiveness. Pray for connection. Pray for awareness. So when those vicious judgments awaken inside us because somebody did not deliver, someone was not there when he was supposed to be. Okay, I'm set. Are you, what the Zohar is saying is very important, are you condemning the structure of the creation? Are you condemning the structure of the world? Are you going against whatever was developed during millennia about how things are structured? And when you start to complain, no, I was not complaining about God. I was complaining that God's world is not functioning well. And who's running the world? So we have this saying that also from Psalms, which is very important for us to learn. This is from Proverbs also, 21:1. The heart of a king is in the hand of God, which means if somebody says something not appropriate to me, and especially that somebody is the king, the president, the leader, when it's coming to someone that he is representing a whole clan, a whole nation, a whole commonwealth of human beings, he is not in that place of free will so much because his heart is in the hands of God, because he is basically serving the purpose of God running his world. So what's supposed to be my reaction? Let's say if my reaction will be, again, victimization, hatred and anger, how do I solve the problem? How do I improve the situation? Of course not, you do not. But if you are aware of it and you start to fight to transform the negativity, the disappointment, the hatred, the anger, and so on into trust, because if the heart of king in the hand of God, so whatever the kings are doing, who makes them see what they see, who makes them think what they think, who makes them feel what they feel, it's only God. And who makes them make the decisions like they make? It's only God. When they make those decisions, they are basically God's messengers. Can we badmouth God? No, everything is good. Everything that turns evil will finally turn to become good. If we have that, as the Zohar says, we have that faith, we have that trust, and we have that non-negotiable certainty that things are doing well, they'll become well. Okay, so that is what this parasha mainly speaks about. Where in times of judgment, this part of the year, this era in the history of humanity, things happen in all kinds of weird ways. And you know what? There were all kinds of horrible things happening in old times, but we didn't know. It was censored. The ancient kings, they wrote on the walls, they encrypted on the walls of the palaces and temples only their great victories. Nothing to do with us. Although, by the way, we're talking about judgment. The first time we have an evidence of of the nation of Israel outside the Bible and outside the land of Israel is what is called Merneptah's steel or stone. Pharaoh Meneptah, he is writing that he waged war against Israel. He won. He erased Israel from the face of the world, and there's no Israel anymore. That was 32 centuries ago. Where is Pharaoh? In the museum. Where's Israel? In its land. Oh, we wandered so much since we're back home. And what does it mean? That whatever a king, and he's testifying, I destroyed Israel. So the fact that kings have this like huge need to go against Israel and to defy, badmouth, hate, whatever that nation state called Israel, this is not new. That's the first time we hear, thanks to Pharaoh Meneptah, that he, with his great hatred, he had to put on his monumental stone the idea that he erased the nation of Israel. That nation does not exist anymore. He was so adamant to engrave that for generations. What a mockery. Who is mocked? He is mocked. Same way, here is Balaam. He is going with so much passion to curse the nation of Israel. He has so much passion. He'll do anything possible. Just let me curse them. And what is Zohar saying? Something so funny. Verse 451. On his way to Moab, Balaam is riding his donkey, and then there's an angel of God standing there blocking the way. The donkey sees the angel. The great prophet, famous, wise prophet Balaam cannot see the angel. So she wants to save her master. The angel is standing with a sword, and he beats his donkey 3 times. Finally, God opens her mouth and she tells Balaam, why are you hitting me? And he's getting upset. He's angry about his donkey. He's so angry that instead of saying like, wow, you talking? He's saying, if I had a sword, I would have been killed you long time ago. You're so stubborn. Suddenly, he sees the angel. He realizes the donkey saved his life. Does he apologize? No. So when it says that Balaam said to the donkey, that's Zohar verse 451 in the Sulam commentary. Ki talak bi, you abused me. היה לו לצחוק ממנה, והוא השיב לה דברי טיפשות. He was talking to her like a little child. How dare you do that? אז צחקו ממנו והוא נעשה נקלה ביניהם. So all the dignitaries of Moab standing around and realizing this is the guy who says with his curses he can kill a whole nation, genocide. We're willing to pay him to do genocide. Okay? He cannot kill his donkey? What a joke. It made him despised in their eyes. What else does it say? Ki talak bi, lo yesh chereb biyadi. If I only had the sword, I would have killed you. So the dignitaries that were around him, they saw it. They knew he's a fool. ומה אמר? כי תלק בי לו יש חרב בידי. אמרו השרים, שוטה זה מתפאר, this fool is bragging that he can destroy nations with his mouth and he cannot destroy his donkey? הוא צריך לחרב, he needs a sword. So that became shaming for him. So, of course, there are many things in this parasha. It finishes with Pinchas taking the initiative, risking his life, killing Cosbi and Zimri during the act in their tent. 10 miracles happened at that time because his devotion and sacrifice was so unbelievable. But he showed us what's a hero. Not always a hero is the one who can carry the spear and kill the enemies like Pinchas did. But he did what nobody did. He was the one that instead of complaining, crying, like the rest of the leaders of the nation of Israel at that time did, he simply destroyed his own judgment, connected to God's light. And then he simply did what had to be done. He knew that he has to kill both of them. He knew at that moment to kill both of them and to raise them on the spear so everybody will become witnesses. Because he killed them in a tent and no circumstantial evidences in the Torah law, in the biblical law. There were more. But basically what happened, Pinchas became a real superhuman, a real gibor. He overcame the scare, the fear, the nervousness, the sense of loss that everybody, including Moses and Aaron, were at. And he was the only one who used that breaking as a stepping stone to rise to the occasion, to flee up and above, to create a miracle and to connect to God. And then everything was clear. Cosbi and Zimri must be killed, even if I have to pay with my life for it. Pinchas did it. He paid with his life. He died on the spot, says the Zohar. However, his two uncles, Nadav and Avihu, two of the highest souls that ever walked on earth in a body, that died 38 years earlier, 39, during the dedication of the Mishkan. They simply got into him, possessed his bodies, and came to incarnate into his body. Then Pinchas' original soul came in. Now he had three souls, himself, Nadav, and Avihu. Now he became the high priest. He became a prophet. He became angelic, that we read in the Haftarah. We read in the Haftarah of Shlach Lecha, that when Pinchas and Caleb went to Jericho to spy, and the king's mission came to find them in the house of Rachav, and she had to hide only Caleb, because Pinchas became an angel. He could hide, just simply become invisible. And he became like that for the rest of his life, till he became Elijah the prophet. And he took off in a chariot of fire, and he's coming every now and then to help us when we need him. But it's all about one thing, that the idea that a judgment is not the end of the road. Judgment is not an opportunity to celebrate chaos. Judgment is an opportunity for each one of us to become a gibor, a superhuman, somebody who steps up to the occasion, turns off his judgment, first by judging the judgment. Stop the judgment. Don't stay there too long. Immediately connect to the solution, not to the problem. Connect to the light, not to the darkness. Connect to love, not to hatred and despair. Connect to enlightenment, which is the purpose of our creation, that when we connect there, we connect it to it like we created it on our own. When we do that, we rise to the occasion. When we do that, we are greater than a great general conquering a city, because we become superhuman. Then we can unite with the creator of the universe, become one, and win the prize, becoming a creator in this world, turning darkness into light, bitterness into sweet. So that is the purpose of these parashot. Let's celebrate it. Don't be afraid of the judgments. However, be aware of it. Do not run away from them. Thank you, and good luck to us all. Don't be afraid. Don't be stressed out. That's never a solution. You're just becoming part of the problem. But you take the initiative, you become part of the solution and the victory. Thank you so much.